Hi everyone, I'm Chris Mutuk, your lifestyle coordinator here at the Overture in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Today's biography is going to be about Tony Curtis. So, star of the silver screen, Tony Curtis appeared in over 100 films and television shows throughout his nearly 60-year career. Equally at home with drama and comedy, Curtis is a beloved icon of Hollywood and star of some of the best regarded movies ever to be made. So Tony Curtis was born Bernard Schwartz on June 3, 1925 in Manhattan to Manuel and Helen Schwartz. The eldest of three sons, Curtis and his family lived in the back of his father's tailor shop, struggling with money so much that Curtis and his brother Julius were taken away by the state to live in an orphanage just for a month. So Curtis also struggled in school as his parents were Jewish immigrants from Hungary and Czechoslovakia, and he did not learn English until he was almost 6 years old. To add to his family's woes, his mother Helen had undiagnosed schizophrenia, and her children became subject to her mistreatment. Thankfully, Helen was eventually diagnosed and received help. But in a final blow to the family, Julius was fatally struck in a traffic accident. Young, energetic, and directionless Curtis quickly fell into petty crime, joining a local gang and committing minor offenses such as loitering and theft from local stores. Curtis later expressed that he would have been poised to fall into an endless criminal spiral after the death of his brother, were it not for the actions of her kind neighbor who paid for Curtis to attend a Boy Scout camp. With a newfound sense of direction and an outlet for his youthful energy, Curtis began to turn his life around, attending Seward Park High School and making his first foray into action with a small part in a school play. With the onset of U.S. involvement in World War II, Curtis enlisted in the Navy as a submarine tender in the Pacific Submarine Force. When the war was over, Curtis seized the opportunity provided by the GI Bill to attend the City College of New York before enrolling at the new school in Greenwich Village. Under the tutelage of famed stage director Irwin Piscator, Curtis studied alongside future stars such as Elaine Stritch, B. Arthur, Harry Belafonte. While still studying, Curtis was discovered by Joyce Selznick, a notable casting director and niece of famed producer David O. Selznick, who gave him what he truly needed for his life to begin, a ticket to Hollywood. So in 1948, Curtis arrived in Hollywood and signed to Universal Pictures, adopting the professional name Anthony Curtis. There he met fellow unknown actors like Rock Hudson and Piper Laurie and began to work in the adventurous films of the time, often playing swashbucklers and rogues. Curtis quickly drew the attention of the public with fan letters pouring in. Recognizing his potential, Universal awarded him a starring role alongside Piper Laurie in The Prince Who Was a Thief. That was in 1951, which cemented his star status. He continued to appear in movies with Laurie, but it was Janet Leigh, his co-star in Houdini, who stole his heart. They married in 1951. Curtis continued to work in B movies, but his box office appeal earned him more and more serious roles. He was nominated for an Oscar for his performance as a bigoted white convict chained to Sidney Poitier's character in The Defiant Ones. He then turned to comedy, starring alongside Marilyn Monroe and Jack Lemmon in Some Like It Hot. The film was a huge success and is an enduring classic, while widely considering to be one of the best comedies of all time. Entering the 1960s, Curtis continued to star in several films alongside several high-profile stars, including Debbie Reynolds and Dean Martin. He also played a key role in Stanley Kubrick's epic film Spartacus, alongside Laurence Olivier. However, his marriage to co-star Janet Leigh, with whom he had two daughters, actresses Kelly Lee and Jamie Lee Curtis, sadly was not as successful. Once considered a Hollywood golden couple, they divorced in 1962. A year later, Curtis married another one of his co-stars, Christine Kaufman, with whom he appeared in Terra's Bulba. The couple had two daughters, Alexandra and Allegra, before Curtis divorced again in 1968. During their marriage, Curtis continued to play popular comic roles, but turned back to drama in the critically acclaimed The Boston Strangler. He married a third time to Leslie Allen, with whom he had two sons, Nicholas and Benjamin. Curtis spent much of the 1970s continuing to star in comedies, but also turned to television. He starred in The Persuaders with Roger Moore and made numerous guest appearances on television shows. So, in the 1980s, Curtis allowed his acting career to fall to the back burner. Although he continued to appear in several films and television shows, often appearing as himself, he turned much of his focus to painting, a lifelong passion that he expanded into a second career. After 2 more marriages, he finally met the love of his life, Jill Vandenberg, in 1993. They married in 1998 and would remain together until his death. Never truly slowing down, Curtis turned his attention to philanthropy, working with his daughter, Jamie Lee Curtis, to help finance the reconstruction of the Great Synagogue in Budapest. Continuing to honor his Hungarian Jewish roots, he frequently promoted Hungary's image in commercials and founded the Emmanuel Foundation for Hungarian Culture. Throughout the foundation, Curtis worked to preserve and restore synagogues and Jewish cemeteries in Hungary, honoring the 600,000 victims of the Holocaust in Hungary. In his final years, Curtis took to writing books about his long career. His autobiography, American Prince, a memoir, was published in 2008 and told the story of his difficult childhood and his life alongside Hollywood legends like James Dean and Debbie Reynolds. A year later, he released a book about his time working on his incredibly popular film, Some Like It Hot. In 2010, Curtis was hospitalized and had an asthma attack during his book signing. He suffered a heart attack in his Nevada home and passed away on September 29th at the age of 85. His funeral was attended by many stars, including his actress daughters, Kelly Lee and Jamie Lee Curtis, Kirk Douglas, and Arnold Schwarzenegger.